They thought they could fence him in. A quiet black rancher living peacefully on his land until the local HOA decided he didn't belong. Overnight, wooden posts and steel wire cut through his property, locking him inside his own home. Neighbors called it rules. He knew it was racism. First, he tried to fight it with reason, but reason didn't matter. What came next shocked the entire community, because the man they thought they could silence found a way to turn their fence into his ultimate revenge. And when the truth came out, nobody saw it coming. For years, Daniel had lived a simple life on his ranch. Horses, white skies, a quiet piece of land he worked with his own 2 hands. It wasn't flashy, but it was his dream bought with sweat, sacrifice, and endless hard work. But from the beginning, whispers circled. Some neighbors didn't like that a black man owned one of the biggest ranches in the area. They smiled to his face, but behind closed doors the complaints piled up. Grass too long, trucks too loud, barn too close to the fence line. Most people would have ignored it. But Daniel wasn't dealing with just people. He was dealing with a powerful homeowners association. And soon, their complaints turned into demands. One morning, he stepped outside to see workers hammering posts into the ground. Wires stretched across the edges of his land, slicing off access to his own driveway. The HOA had fenced him in. Daniel stood there, fists clenched. This wasn't just about property lines. This was about sending a message. You don't belong here. He could have shouted. He could have fought. But instead he waited. Because Daniel knew if he lost his temper, they'd win. If he stayed calm, he could find a way to turn the game around, and soon he would. The fence changed everything. Daniel couldn't get deliveries. Guests struggled to reach his home. Even moving his cattle became a daily battle. Each time he complained, the HOA sent another letter called legal, dripping with threats. Neighbors avoided eye contact. Nobody wanted to get involved. But Daniel noticed the smirks from certain board members, the way they lingered outside his property as if daring him to break the rules at night. He sat at his kitchen table, papers scattered, trying to find a way out. The HOA had money, lawyers, and power. All he had was determination. But sometimes, that's all you need. He started digging through county records, deeds, old property maps, survey reports that hadn't been touched in decades. And then, buried deep in those dusty pages, he found something strange, a thin strip of land so narrow it looked useless, barely wide enough for a road, but it connected straight from his ranch to the community's only gate. Daniel's pulse quickened. That strip wasn't owned by the HOA, it was his. The more he studied, the clearer it became. The HOA's precious fence had boxed everyone in, and the only legal way out now ran directly through Daniel's land. The power had shifted, quietly, completely, and nobody knew it yet. Daniel didn't celebrate, he planned, he prepared, because when he revealed what he had found, it wouldn't just free him, it would bring the entire HOA to its knees. The HOA called a meeting, expecting Daniel to finally give in. They pictured him defeated, apologizing, begging for access. Instead, he walked in calm, carrying a folder under his arm. While they lectured about rules and community standards, Daniel placed the papers on the table. Property deeds, legal maps, county signatures. Silence fell. One by one, board members leaned closer, their smiles fading. The truth was undeniable. The HOA's fence had cut off their own access, and the only road out, the only gate, now belonged to Daniel. When the meeting ended, board members rushed to the gate, demanding it open, but it stayed shut. Daniel held the only key. The man they tried to cage now controlled the exit. And in that moment, the entire HOA realized they weren't the ones in charge anymore. News of what happened spread quickly. Some neighbors were embarrassed, others furious, but most, they were stunned. The fence that was meant to humiliate Daniel had backfired in the most powerful way. Daniel didn't gloat, he didn't lash out. Instead, he set terms. If the HOA wanted access, they would treat him with respect. No more harassment, no more fines, no more fake rules. It wasn't just about winning, it was about dignity. About showing that no matter how many fences they tried to build, they couldn't box him out of his own future. Daniel's story isn't just one man's victory. It's a reminder that injustice, no matter how carefully be exposed, that sometimes the very system built to hold you down can be flipped upside down. So the question is, how many more fences will it take before people finally see the truth?